Her dog didn't stop barking at her pregnant belly, then she realized why. You might have heard from pet owners, if you aren't one yourself, that our little furry friends can recognize a lot of things we humans don't even notice. Whether it be a dog or a cat or any other animal, they seem to have something similar to a sixth sense to pick up the slightest change in vibes and energy. This is how sometimes they tell us things we don't even see coming, and this is exactly how little Keola saved her owner, Alana Butler. When they learned of their pregnancy, both Alana and her fiancé Ricky were overjoyed. But Keola began acting weird around her mistress when she was almost 4 months into her pregnancy. Alana didn't really dig much into her puppy's actions and ignored her. That was until she realized the reasons behind Keola always pawing her overgrown belly. When Alana and Ricky met, it was nothing short of love at first sight. They knew that they were meant to be together, and more than that, they wanted to grow old together and start a family. This led them to decide to try for a baby. Although at first it felt like their dream would just be a dream as Alana failed to conceive, but then one day they found out their doubts were wrong. They got the news they wanted to hear so much. Alana was finally expecting. Their tiny family was starting to grow, but they both had another baby to keep in mind, Alana's little furry friend. Keola, Alana and Ricky's other family member, recognized pretty fast what was going on. The American Akia knew her mom was pregnant. Although Keola was always sweet and cuddly and a furball, seeing her mom in the state she was in made her even more caring and kind. She was always at her mommy's side, tending to her needs in her own way as day by day Alana's belly swelled up. Instead of her usual outdoor night trips, Keola started preferring relaxing on the couch in the evening with her head rested on her owner's growing belly. But soon, her tender behavior started changing. When Alana became 4 months pregnant, her dog started acting oddly around her. The usually caring and mushy Keola disappeared and turned into something completely different, whimpering at Alana's belly. This went on for hours every single day as she kept pawing to the place she once laid her head on. Once, Keola even tried to bury her nose like she wanted to get something out of her mom's belly, but the couple tried to ignore their pup's unusual behavior. Only if they knew what their little animal friend was trying to tell them was more than just important, it was alarming. Being pregnant truly brought Alana joy. She was also lucky that she'd never had any problems to deal with in these 4 months of pregnancy. Everything seemed more than just normal, it was ideal. She and her loving fiancé couldn't wait to meet their bundle of joy. And by the looks of it, all things were going so smoothly that dealing with the rest of the pregnancy period was gonna be a piece of cake. But Keola didn't seem as excited anymore and was still acting weird. The couple dismissed her poking at Alana's belly as just being a phase. Only if it was just a phase, it was something a whole lot scarier. Everything was going perfect until Alana hit her 16th week of pregnancy. She started experiencing sharp and dreadful pains in her lower back. This left her barely able to walk or even talk. As anyone would think in this scenario, Alana began wondering and imagining for the worst. Was her baby really okay? Would everything turn out all right, or would her and Ricky's dream of becoming parents be stripped away from them? Alana was taken into hospital quickly. They both prayed that everything would be normal and they would live out their dream of becoming parents. Ricky rushed his love to the hospital as fast as he could, where a doctor examined Alana right away. To the couple's relief, both the baby and Alana seemed fine. Although they were expecting some scary news, the doctors just told Alana to get plenty of rest and care for her body, as the pregnancy might be taking a toll on her. They said everything would be fine if she just rested until their baby came into the world. So Alana and Ricky went home and did exactly that. But something was still out of the ordinary. Comforted by the news of everything being normal, Ricky and Alana came home. They were happy that the baby was healthy and just wanted to relax after dealing with the dread of what could have been wrong. Alana still had the sharp pains, but she wasn't worried anymore as she was before. She tried to deal with the pain by trying to sleep and cuddling with her fur baby after she got home. After resting, Alana went to Facebook to update what was happening in her life so her friends and family would know. She made a detailed post of all that had happened in the past few days and how her doctor had told her not to be scared. She also added that although she and her baby were fine, her other baby Keola didn't stop acting strange. Alana got tons of support from everyone who saw the update. She also got many people urging her to go get everything checked once more and trust what Keola was trying to convey to her. Soon enough, Alana also started feeling like maybe indeed there was something she was missing. Alana was really confused now. She was exhausted for the past few days and didn't want to irritate her doctor and insist that something is off, when the medical staff had already said that everything was fine. But the pains didn't stop, and as time passed, Alana was slowly starting to see that Keola might be right after all. She'd been acting strange for some time now. Was she really trying to warn her mother of something that was coming? By now, Alana didn't know what to do at all. Caught between her friends and family pressuring her to see a doctor again and not wanting to upset her doctor, Alana was very baffled on what would be the best course of action to take. But someone stepped in and helped her decide to indeed get another checkup, and it was none other than Alana's mom. Alana's mom believed that her daughter's fur baby wasn't just acting odd for no reason, so she convinced Alana that it might not just be a coincidence. But still, Alana decided to go to work and ignore the pain until Keola decided to step in her way. The next morning, Alana, still acting tough, got all dressed up and headed out to work. When she was just by the door, Keola jumped in. She wouldn't let her lady step out, jumping, barricading the door, whining, or doing whatever it took to stop Alana. Alana was wondering what had gotten into Keola so early in the day, and then she collapsed. Ricky saw what happened and rushed Alana to the emergency room. Finally, in the hospital, Alana was given a series of tests to determine if there was a serious underlying cause of her pain or just pregnancy stress as previously suggested. Alana was stabilized and asked for an explanation on what had happened, even though she didn't say she was there partially because of her dog wanting her to be there. As they waited for the results, both the couple and Alana's mom wondered if Keola was right, and she was right indeed, as the test results confirmed the news was not good. But the good news was that Alana's pain wasn't imagined, it was real. And even though she was scared to death of her unborn child's life, she could be treated and would eventually get well. Alana's doctors started her treatment as quickly as possible, as the risk was far too great if there was more delay. Not only would Alana end up losing her child, but she could also lose her own life. The medical staff put her on a serious course of antibiotics and advised the necessary care required to prevent further damage to her body and kidneys. Although now in good hands at a very good time, Alana still feared over the possibility of losing her pregnancy. And her unborn baby wasn't the only one she was worried about. She couldn't stop thinking of her furry baby back home. After an awful and distressing week, Alana finished her regimen of strong antibiotics and got loads of rest. Eventually, she got well, being monitored by her doctor the entire time. Thankfully, everything worked out and both she and the baby were fine. With the infection cleared up and everything back to normal, Alana could finally relax. Now all that was left for her and Ricky was to anticipate the arrival of their young one, which was gonna happen soon enough. The couple was so overwhelmed. They finally fulfilled their dreams of becoming parents. And though they went through such a scary time and their dream was almost shattered, there was Lincoln, happy and healthy as he could be. They couldn't be more grateful for Keola. Finally, Keola was able to meet the little child she was so desperately trying to protect for so long. After spending a few days in the hospital, Ricky and Alana were so excited to go home, mostly to introduce their new little family member to Keola. Although Alana always loved Keola, the past few days had changed her love for her dog into something even more intense. Alana kept thinking back on how Keola tried to save her so many times and didn't give up trying to protect Alana, even after she completely dismissed her behavior. Alana didn't know how to express what she now felt for the little pup and if she could ever repay her for what she'd done for her. The couple came home with the newest addition to their family. Keola was just as excited to meet the boy as were the others. When she realized mom and dad returned home with her little brother, she was ecstatic and nothing could beat her joy. Just as they came back home, it was like Keola had fallen for Lincoln. She never left his side and stayed by him like she'd known him since forever. Listen on below and see the beautiful couple along with baby Lincoln and fur baby Keola, along with the much-deserved award she was given. From the second Lincoln was brought home, he'd gotten a best friend who never left his side. Be it nap time or playtime, both Keola and Lincoln were always together. It was like she'd known him for centuries. Seeing the two together made the people around them even more sure that animals did indeed have some sort of sixth sense or psychic abilities. It was evident from how they treated each other that they had a connection like no other, What's even more astonishing and cute is that Keola knows whenever it's time to go out. Whenever Alana starts dressing her son, Keola starts jumping up and down, always excited to go on a trip with her favorite humans. It's obvious that they share a soul connection, but it's not just their parents who think their bond is special. Everyone else around them also seems to think the same thing whenever they see them together. And as someone else noticed how special Keola was on her own, they nominated her for an award. Not only did she get to attend the ceremony with Alana and Ricky and receive an award, but she also got tons of dog treats just like she deserved. Lincoln sure is small, but he understands more than well how special his bond with his furry friend is, and everyone believes that it will only grow with time into something stronger and deeper. Seeing all these photos, it's hard to even think how things would be if Keola didn't warn her mommy of the condition she was in. But now, both baby and mommy are happy and healthy, and their smile says more than words can ever convey. Lincoln is a toddler now and growing up fast, and his parents often think back to how the incident that happened between Alana's pregnancy could have claimed the lives of both their child and Alana herself. Thinking back, they always find themselves more than just grateful for Keola, and they think it's a blessing their son was saved and is healthy today. Not only is their son well, but is thriving alongside someone like Keola. What more could they ask for? Their story conveys a very strong message to us, that if our pets pick up on something, we should listen to it. Sometimes they recognize things we don't even know, and it's best for us to trust their intuition over ours. Animals, especially dogs, can tell many things about their surroundings and owners. They have many ways, but the one that stands out the most is their sense of smell. Some of the fluffballs have as high as 50 times the amount of receptors in their body compared to humans, and this makes their sense of smell stronger by nearly a factor of 100,000. But what does this actually mean? This is exactly how Keola picked up on Alana's illness even before she realized she was suffering. Her body chemistry was changing even if no one saw, but thankfully her loving pup did. Not only can they sense sickness, but another amazing thing is that dogs can even sense pregnancy. Thanks to their amazing sense of smell, they can detect when a woman gets pregnant due to changes in her hormones. Dogs know the usual scent of their owner, but since the biochemistry of the body changes when pregnancy occurs, it alters the behavior of the puppy towards their female owner. Another thing that scientists explain is that dogs don't really know that this change is being caused by pregnancy. They just know something is different from the norm, and it makes them behave unusually. It's right said that dogs are the most loyal friends anyone can get. If Keola's story warmed your heart, these next ones will leave you speechless on how far these furry friends can go for the people they care about. Shauna saved her elderly owners, who were 81 at the time, from a disastrous snowstorm in 2006. Norman and Eve Fertig, living in upstate New York, got stuck under a fallen tree when a power outage stripped the place of electricity. Shauna, the courageous hero, tunneled a hole and saved her mom and dad. Not only that, she used her body as a blanket to keep the couple warm until help arrived. Norman, her owner, rightly described the event as the most heroic thing he ever saw to Fox News. Maya's mom is a single mother named Angela Marcelino. One night she was celebrating her birthday till late. The day was almost at a good end until on her way back, she was attacked by a vile male from behind who tried to force himself on her. She thought she was a goner until she saw her brave little pup running up to her and called her to attack. Maya did just as asked and made the man run for his life. Honey is not only a beautiful Cocker Spaniel, but also a very heroic one. She was rewarded with the title of Dog of the Year after she saved her master, Michael Bosch, from a deadly car accident which almost claimed his life. Both the pup and her owner got trapped in his SUV, which crashed upside down and landed in a ravine. Trusting his dog to be his only lasting hope of survival, Michael somehow managed to get the strength to get her out, telling her to reach out for help. Even though she was just 5 months of age, little Honey ran over half a mile from where the crash had occurred and got help. Without her, Michael wouldn't have lived to see another day. Napoleon didn't save his owner like the other dogs on this list, but this doesn't make the English Bulldog any less heroic. Even when he was bad at swimming, he still ran across the street and jumped into the dangerous Michigan lake to save a group of baby kittens from drowning. His owner was surprised seeing him pull such a stunt and dragging back the sack full of little furry cats on the street. When she took a good look, she realized her little lovable dog had given a second chance at life to 6 adorable kittens. she was able to help 4 of them back to health. Unfortunately, 2 of them passed away due to the trauma. But the rest of the 4 became happy and healthy, and she took them to a local shelter afterwards, where each of them found loving homes. He woke up the whole house by loudly barking. It was surprising because Junior is usually a quiet dog, Devil Lamar stated later. The noise he made ended up saving all the people at home as they escaped just in time. One night, Miley kept waking Stacy up. This made her very frustrated because each time she tried to sleep, Miley kept waking her up. She was annoyed with her until she finally realized something was terribly wrong. The whole family found themselves with severe headaches and nausea and immediately rushed to the hospital. Turns out if they hadn't listened to Miley, permanent damage to their lungs would have occurred. Because of the little hero, everyone was saved from the poisoning. Angel, the beautiful dog of 11-year-old Austin Foreman, is a real angel indeed. Her Canadian owner was playing outside in the backyard with his furry friend, not knowing the danger that lurked behind him. About 5:30 p.m., a wild and vicious cougar attacked the little boy, but his courageous pooch stepped in to help him. Angel fought the cougar off until Austin safely reached back inside the house. Although she got serious injuries, including bites across her head and neck, she didn't just let her owner get hurt. She's now healthy again, nursed back to her initial self by her loving and caring family. Veteran Buddy Blair, who's also an ex-inmate, suffered from severe PTSD when he came home from the Middle East. This caused him to get violent and assault police officers and earned him time in jail. In his time as an inmate, he met a pit bull named Layla, who had suffered in a bad car crash herself. Layla and Buddy got a lot of similarities. He said he saw himself in the dog, both being abused, discarded, and left alone by the world. So he took Layla into his care and their bond became so strong that she ended up saving his soul. Layla saved my life. That dog was better than Prozac for me, he said. Later, he started a training program in jail that paired lonesome and troubled shelter dogs with prisoners and earned them companions. The child's mom has stated that Johnny has improved drastically ever since Xena came into his life. He's the happiest child that I've ever seen him to be in 8 years, she added. Johnny, who was quiet and reserved most of the time, is now a complete chatterbox and has built up a lot of confidence. Xena also gets all the love and care she deserved. It's like the 2 friends are meant to be together. Because of their amazing sense of smell, many times our animal friends can sniff up trouble before it even happens. Nyla is another example of such a brilliant dog who saved her owner from being burnt alive in a deadly fire. When her lady Sheila found herself in between smokes and flames, unable to see anywhere, Nyla guided her owner towards the door and barked whenever she lost her among the smoke and fire to find her again. She eventually led Sheila outside to safety. The latter expressed her love for the pup, saying, "Nyla could have left any time. Instead, she chose to stay and risk her own life and face death to save me." Even though her home and everything was lost in the fire, Sheila was grateful to be alive and still have Nyla with her.